Although many were serving time for violent crimes, some were allowed to take part in an outside-the-prison work program aimed at getting them ready for eventual release back into society.
On May 3rd, 1982, inmates who had earned work privileges left the grounds of the medium security prison around 7:30 a.m., supervised by Michael Otte.
I was a correctional officer in charge of an outside the fence detail, picking up garbage, cutting lawns, stuff like that. I took them out every day, and most of the inmates were pretty decent people, and they treated me well, I treated them well, so I didn't have any fear of them. I'd been on the job for about, 4 or 5 months. I never had a problem with them up till this one day. I was not armed at the time. The Department of Corrections policy is that we do not carry weapons while we're involved with inmates, basically due to the fact that if an inmate was to take you hostage, then they'd have a weapon. Even now, sometimes I have the nightmares.
Is that everything? Yeah.
We were pulling out of Knight's Point, where we'd stop to drop off one of our broken tools.
Sorry. Hey, come on, Freddie. Oh, man, what are you doing? Oh, shut it. Crazy.
I was just so shocked. I just took my foot off the gas and let the vehicle roll.
What are you pulling over for? It's stalled. Well, start the thing. Come on, Freddie, come on, will you? Shut up. Come on, now, let's go. Come on, right up the road here. This guy's shot.
I don't have any idea how far I drove. It seemed like for hours.
I'd have killed him right here.
The man who had taken Otte hostage was serving a 23-year sentence for armed robbery and had a reputation for instability.
Take a left right in this cornfield, right here.
I don't think I wanted to think what was going to happen.
Take a left right here.
So I just kind of blocked it out, concentrated on driving, and I had several nicks on my throat, so I wasn't particularly happy with bumpy roads.
All right in here. Come on, pull in here.
There's nothing I could do. It's a terrible feeling. It's scary to know that you're going to die.
All right, now put your head there. Come on, put your head there. All right, now put your hand behind you. Come on, put your hand behind you. Bob, give me that rope back there. Bob, give me that rope back there.
Don't do this, Fred.
Well, no part of this, Freddie, man. You're on your own.
Otte's hands were tied behind his back with rope by another inmate. He was then secured to a tree with adhesive tape.
You guys coming?
It seemed like he didn't have any plan or anything. It was just a spur-of-the-moment thing, and he really didn't have any idea what he was doing. With inmates, there's a code that you can't squeal on somebody, and you can't help a guard. I knew they couldn't help me, but they really did because they tied me very loosely so that I could get free without too much trouble.
Okay, let's get going. We got a long ways to go.
I gathered the other inmates, and we headed down the road to the nearest house, where I made a call to the correctional center to inform them that there was an escape, and from there they called the state police.
BOL for an inmate who has escaped from a work detail in North Hero on West Shore Road. It's believed that he has taken the state van, registration D. David C. Charles 102. Direction of travel unknown at this time.
Leo, the scene.
73-year-old May Lamont was at home with her 81-year-old husband, Leo.
It startled me so. I just run into the house and put in the telephone call to the rescue squad.
This is May Lamont. The senior's bus has just run into the ditch on our road.
That's what I thought it was. And I knew if anyone had been in the back of that van, that they would have been injured.
Yes, I think there's someone hurt. I can see someone getting out now.
The town's volunteer rescue squad was dispatched, including EMT Gary Tourville, who worked less than 2 miles away.
Gone into the ditch in front of Lamont's place.
Got it.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Is there anyone else down there?
No, just me.
You want to come in and use the phone?
Is it okay?
Gary arrived at the scene within a few minutes.
You okay, sir?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna back over here. I'll be right with you.
I went to the telephone intending to call a wrecker. I think I was so frightened, I just passed out.
May's husband, Leo, was already very ill with a serious heart condition.
It probably was only 2 or 3 seconds. I wasn't out very long. Just then, Gary came in. He couldn't believe what he was seeing.
Truck, it's right out here. I'll go with you. Let them go. All right, turn around. Just take it easy, okay? May, you okay, May?
I thought Leo was going to have a heart attack because I knew how sick he had been, you know. Then this convict went to Gary and told him, I've got a knife at your throat and you do what I tell you. And they walked out the door.
All right, you're driving here. Okay.
I wanted to run after him and knock the knife out of his hands, but I couldn't move. That man looked desperate. I called the state police, and they wanted a description of the man that had held us up.
Yes, help us. A man came in with a knife.
Just received a call from a Mrs. Lamont.
As soon as May's call came in, police in the area were given a description of the situation and the vehicle involved.
I believe it is the corrections van from the way that she described it.
Confirming that Gary Tourville is the...
Essex police officer Mike Brooks heard the call while on routine patrol.
While I was going through an intersection in Essex Village, I observed a truck that was similar color and description.
The last scene headed east on Route 2 through South Hero Village. Be advised that subject may be armed and dangerous.
When I called in the plate number to our dispatcher, she immediately called back and said she just received word from the state police and this was a vehicle they were looking for.
400 is in pursuit.
I was concerned at this point that it probably wasn't a good idea to be stopping it now, but I'd already committed myself because I had the blue lights on. I could see only one person in the truck because my view was obstructed. He kept looking in his mirror and looking right at me. But the vehicle wasn't pulling over. I just maintained my distance behind the truck and radioed in my position to the dispatcher to coordinate assistance for me.
Backup units were dispatched. Lieutenant Robert Yandow was among those who responded.
I'll stay on 2A. If he takes on industrial, you guys stay with him. Okay.
When I heard that he was going to be making an attempt to stop the vehicle, that's when I left the office with Gary and Robin to lend whatever assistance we could to Lieutenant Brooks.
As I got closer to the truck, I could see in the mirror on the driver's door that the passenger was holding what appeared to be a knife to the driver's throat. I asked for a roadblock once the vehicle turned and started heading towards South Burlington.
Be advised that a roadblock is being set up now on Route 2.
Police units from Essex and South Burlington joined forces to form the roadblock.
Come on, go around him. Hit him.
Once they started to proceed around the roadblock, it became obvious to us that the suspect was pretty desperate and was urging the victim to continue on. At that point, it appeared to be at any cost. The fact that they got on the interstate not only surprised everyone, but gave us an advantage that we wouldn't have had if they'd have stayed on a congested road.
We're coming up on your left side. Okay, I copy. On my left. Go for it.
Everybody maneuvered their vehicles to box in the suspect.
Copy on right. We got him back then. Hit
Hit him, come on. Hit this guy on the left. Come on, hit him. Hit him again, come on.
Stay around him, Rob. Stay with him. Back off a little, Ernie. Maybe we can slow him down.
Once we had the vehicle boxed in, no one was going to allow that situation to digress to the point where it would be out of control again. The victim hostage had no choice but to slow down and ultimately stop.
You don't care nothing about me, and they don't care nothing about you.
Let's quit. When I turned to look, all I was doing was looking down the barrel of an awful lot of guns.
Nice and easy. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop it. Drop it. Don't move.
These officers had no idea which one of us was which.
Find the guy.
They just been through a very tense situation.
Nice and easy.
Both were taken out of the vehicle at gunpoint. Both were physically restrained and detained until we were certain that the person driving was actually the victim.
We'll get in by here. We'll get you out.
Okay. Okay, you can get out.
They were just doing what they were supposed to do. They did an admirable job. You couldn't have asked them to do any better.
Watch your head.
Nobody pulled the trigger.
You're not hurt at all? You don't need an ambulance?
No.
The man arrested that day was charged with assault and kidnapping. He was transferred to a higher security prison where he later committed suicide. After several years of trying, prison guard Michael Oddie could not forget the traumatic events of that day. He finally left his job at the prison.
I believe that he would have killed me. I have no idea why he didn't. He threatened it enough times. But it's like even today I have a hard time driving down that road because I hit one certain spot and I can remember it very vividly.
In the years since the incident, Gary Tourville has kept in touch with the now widowed May Lamont.
Hi, Gary.
Hi, May.
Gary was wonderful, and I owe my life to Gary Tourville. I believe that fellow would have killed us if it hadn't been for him. And I think that ride was one of the wildest rides that anyone ever took.
It's all part of something you were doing, and it just happened you were there at that moment, and you did something that you knew you had to do. It's fun to sit down and talk about it, and go, okay, I've ran roadblocks, and I've rammed into police cars, and I've been handcuffed and frisked, and it's okay, but what's next? It was a Monday. What do you do for Tuesday?